Imagine a city above the clouds, a place so high in the mountains that mist rolls through its streets, where silence replaces noise and the world below feels a million miles away. If there is anything on earth that comes close to a city in the heavens, this might be it. This is Machu Picchu. An ancient city hidden deep in the mountains of Peru, forgotten by the outside world for centuries. While local people always knew of its existence, no one lived here, not permanently. By the time it was brought to global attention in the early 20th century, it was already abandoned. Left to the jungle, left to time, sitting silently waiting to be discovered again. Historians believe Machu Picchu was built in the 1400s during the reign of the Inca ruler Pachacuti. A royal estate, a ceremonial site, a place of importance. And there is evidence that supports this. Artifacts, human remains, and the architectural style all connect to the Inca civilization. And to be fair, that's a solid starting point. But a starting point is not the same as the final answer. Because even within what's accepted, there are still gaps. No written records from the Inca themselves that fully explain this place, no clear account, no detailed explanation, no definitive purpose. And that's where things get interesting, because when something this significant exists and the explanation feels incomplete, it's worth asking questions. Not to dismiss what we've been told, but to recognise that might not be the full picture. What was it built for? What was its true purpose? Because when you look closer, Machu Picchu becomes something else entirely. Massive stone blocks cut with incredible precision. And this is something we keep seeing time and time again across the ancient sites all around the world. Which raises a question. Was this simply the standard way of building at the time? Or does it point to a level of understanding we don't fully appreciate today? Because these stones aren't just placed, they're engineered, fitted together without mortar, no cement, no binding material, just stone shaped so precisely that they lock together perfectly. And that's the part that's hard to ignore, because this isn't rough construction. This is deliberate, it's calculated. Maybe ancient civilizations were far more capable than we give them credit for, or maybe we've just become too comfortable assuming they weren't, because what they created here has lasted. Just stone, perfectly shaped stone, so tight that even today you can't fit a blade between any of these joints, and yet this entire city sits in a region where earthquakes are common. For centuries the ground has shifted, trembled, moved, but the walls don't collapse, they move with it. Each stone cut at angles that allow flexibility, absorbing the energy instead of resisting it. This isn't basic construction, this is advanced engineering. And it does make you wonder, how often do we underestimate the past simply because it doesn't fit how we expect it to look? And what you see is only part of it. Beneath Machu Picchu lies a hidden system. Layers of stone and gravel carefully designed to drain water away from the city, preventing flooding, preventing landslides, stabilising the mountain itself. It is believed that around 60% of the entire site is underground, built in a way that most people will never even notice. This wasn't just built to exist, it was built to survive. It was built to last. Then there's the location. High in the Andes, surrounded by steep cliffs, hidden among peaks and clouds difficult to reach even today. Why build something this complex in such a remote place in the Andes mountains? Was it meant to be isolated, protected, or was the positioning part of something more? Some believe it was aligned with the sun, the stars, the surrounding mountains, a place of meaning, not just function. Because nothing here feels accidental. It doesn't even look accidental. Every wall, every terrace, every angle feels intentional. We're told Machu Picchu was built in the 15th century, and that date comes largely from radiocarbon dating analysis, organic material, bones, charcoal, remnants of human activity. And again, that's useful information to have. but it's important to understand what it actually tells us. Radiocarbon dating doesn't tell us when the stone was built. It tells us when living material was last active on the site. In other words, it shows when people occupied the site, not necessarily when it was first constructed. So the dates we're given may reflect the last inhabitants, not the original builders. Which means we don't actually know with complete certainty how old Machu Picchu truly is. And that's not dismissing the science, it's just recognising its limits. Because once you understand that, the timeline becomes a lot less fixed. And that raises questions. Was Machu Picchu built exactly when we think it was? Or was it already there, just waiting? At some point, it was left behind. No clear explanation. Disease, invasion, collapse, all possibilities, but no single answer fully explains it. And even today, people do not live here. Despite its strength, despite its design, despite surviving everything nature has thrown at it, maybe that's for the best. Because history has shown us that when something this remarkable falls into the wrong hands, it doesn't always end well. Perhaps leaving it untouched, preserved in silence is exactly why it still stands today. Because the more you look at Machu Picchu, the less it feels like just another ancient city. It feels deliberate, engineered, placed with purpose. We can study it, we can analyse it, we can build theories around it. But that doesn't mean we have all the answers at all. And maybe that's the point. Not to blindly accept one's version of the story, and not to replace it with another, but to question, to explore, and to think for ourselves. Because places like this, they don't just challenge what we know, they challenge how we think, and that is very important. And maybe that's why Machu Picchu still feels like a city in the clouds, not just above the world, but slightly beyond our understanding. This has been Shrouded Knowledge. Thanks for watching.